What's up, everybody? Well, I got another Asus G15 Advantage gameplay video for you guys today, and today we're checking out Doom: The Dark Ages. And so far, I've been having fun with the game. Now, I'm sure I'll get to a point where it's way too hard for me, I'll get my ass kicked, but for now, at least in the beginning of the game, not so big of a problem. Though I am just playing it on easy because I'm using friggin' controller and I know I'm gonna suck, so I just decided, alright, let's just do easy for now. I don't like playing games like that, so when I play for real with a mouse and keyboard, I'm probably gonna play on like medium difficulty or something like that. But for now, just easy so I can get you guys your frame rate footage and not die too much. But I'm pretty sure this game has de novo, so I'm probably just making this intro for no reason and probably won't be able to play, but I'll try it anyway. Worst thing that happens is it tells me no, and then I'll probably go back and actually do 1440p and 1080p on the small form factor then. Unless it's also going to tell me, well, no, now you can't play on that one either, but that one should be fine. I think I'd be able to play on anything I've played up to this, but not this. Or unless people were lying about having de novo, that's why I'm going to press play and see. Otherwise, how will I know? Anyway, either way, you guys will jump into the settings. Ryzen actually let me play, but unfortunately OBS on this one didn't work. For some reason it worked just fine on the Firebat, not on here. No idea why, but we'll try it again on 1440. I like getting screen recorded gameplay. Camera recorded gameplay just doesn't seem as professional, you know, but at least this way we don't have anything interfering with the FPS. So first we're just going to play maxed out 1080p without any upscaling or anything, and then we'll try it with some upscaling, and then maybe we'll try it with like native medium or something like that. There's one thing I've noticed already messing around on the small form factor a little bit before coming in here is it doesn't really seem like the graphics settings really change the FPS all that much. But regardless, we're still going to get some gameplay. So why don't we go ahead and hop into the game. Alright, we're just going to get some gameplay here. We'll start at the very beginning. That way we don't ruin anything for anybody. Sometimes I don't do that, but on games that are super popular like this and whatnot, and probably not super long, I don't want to get too far. On the older games that everybody's already played already, I break that rule a little bit here and there. And even for some newer games that usually for ones that are super long. Alright, I was going to say, I was about ready to just pause the recording for a second, I'll pause, but just stop. Alright, let's tell you what kind of FPS we get. We're never going to stay above 60. Even in these little cutscenes here, but wasn't really expecting to maxed out. This thing is not a top-of-the-line computer anymore, and it never really was. It was always mid-range. It used to be the top of mid-range, now it's starting to fall towards the bottom of mid-range, but that's okay. I think it's 12 gigs of VRAM kind of helps it out. Oh, that guy's not having fun.
It is close. Tear this village to pieces, but our time is running out. Soon, the humans will summon him.
He noticed. We found their entry point. It doesn't make sense, sir. The barrier is still holding. But
funny enough, it's getting very similar FPS to what the small form factor PC was doing maxed out.
Demons couldn't get
now, that was doing 4K native versus this, or 1080p native, but still, FPS similar. On a screen this small, you wouldn't really benefit from 4K. It would just kill your FPS.
Captain Bishop. Valen's armored division is still
I'm alright with it being 1080p.
We could try and launch
1440p would be nice, but
there's
again,
no time.
You'd probably suffer quite a bit. Would probably be struggling to stay over 30 FPS at 1440, but we'll be testing that next and we'll find out. Although we might be getting screen recording gameplay with that, so that'll kill it performance a little too. It's one nice thing about doing it this way. Plus I get to yak. I stopped yakking during the screen recorded portions, just for the people who don't like it. So I'm trying to not be too talkative, but I'm excited because this game is fun.
Remain guarded.
The village of Colleen is a mining settlement. If it falls, everything will be destroyed, including your Sentinel energy reserves.
Launch the Slayer.
The Slayer.
Total purification targeted for the village of Khalid.
Launching Slayer in 3, 2, 1. Release.
Impact confirmed. The Slayer has been activated.
I'm not gonna lie, compared to the small form factor PC, it's very similar. And compared to the fire bat, it actually looks nice while getting similar FPS too, so I'll take it. Well, it is on easy, so it's not like, oh man, I'm so good or anything. Alright, you know what? Before we get into this big old mob, why don't we try toning, or not toning down the settings, but turning on some FSR. Alright, actually I had to try balanced FSR to try to stay around 60, and it still can't quite do it. And we're not recording or anything. So we'll try dropping the settings down to medium, native after this, and then we might even have to try FSR after that, but if necessary, we will, damn it. Alright though, that is the bottom of the settings, so let's go hop into the game, shall we? Alright, let's get some gameplay here. settings seem to be kind of wonky all of a sudden. They were doing good at first.
We can't stay here.
Ensign, double lock on the Slayer's location. Confirm. Weapon drop incoming in 3, 2, 1.
Alright, so why don't we tone the settings down a little bit now. Well, first we're going to try just dropping it all the way down to medium, because it didn't really seem like dropping it down to high really did a whole lot compared to having it just on Ultra Nightmare. So, it seemed like this gave us a few more FPS, but obviously as you can see from the menu here, we're not going to get a constant 60. But I still wanted to try it without, you know, any upscaling first. Then we'll probably turn upscaling back on. We'll probably need balanced again, but we shall see. But either way, let's hop back into the game and let's get ourselves a little bit more gameplay. Well, alright. Let's get ourselves some gameplay here.
The main gate is under lockdown. There's a key in the nearby church. Route in the location.
Alright, and now we shall turn FSR back on once more. Alright, looks like it seems like FSR is what's making the weird frame times, I think. It doesn't really feel that bad though when you're actually playing. But we're gonna try FSR balanced again just to see what it'll do. Still medium settings instead of ultra nightmare. And I think after this, we'll just call it quits and move on to 1440p. Well, technically the next video, but still, that's what I'm gonna do. Anyway, it is now game time. Now, here we go. Medium and FSR unbalanced.
Traitors.
He's at ground zero. He located.
I don't know why I went this way.
Once he kills the demons, the portals will collapse. Closed. The village is secure. Tier 5 readings in the South Bay. Incoming.
A Titan has been summoned.
Alright, though. I think that's probably a good spot to stop. So let's go wrap this video on up. Well, alright guys, that's a wrap for Doom in the Dark Ages at 1080p on the Asus G15 Advantage. And with the right settings, you can definitely get over 60 average. Might have some drops under here and there, but it seems like it mostly stays over 60. And who knows, maybe at 1440 we'll get even more FPS because it'll be hooked up to an external monitor. And OBS might work. But if that's the case, then we'll lose FPS because we're doing 1440p and also screen recording, but it might not work. So I'm confused why it would work on the Firebat. Usually that's the one that doesn't like to work out of anything. Although the laptops do, I guess, have their fair share of not liking to work. So they're all kind of equal, I guess, when you get down to the nitty gritty. Either way though, it's time to wrap this up so I can go get started on the 1440p version of this. I wasn't expecting it to work at all. I figured Nuvo was going to pop up and say, you can't play anymore. So who knows, maybe that doesn't really have that, and that's just, you know, false information, or maybe the Steam version doesn't have it. I don't know. Or maybe when I go to the Asus or Alienware, it's going to tell me, nuh-uh, now you've played on enough. We shall see. It'd be great if I could get done with this tonight. Either way, that's all for this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, because I sure as hell enjoyed making it for you guys. And until the next video, peace out, guys.